Notice in the first half about how this game might have contrasted with the last couple that you played, and how much of that was you, how much was Memphis?
Well, I want to credit Memphis first. They played great. They've been playing great. They're one of the hottest teams in the league. Not having Adams out there, obviously he's a big part of what they do, but they get a little faster and a little more spread out and a little more difficult to guard in some ways. So we had trouble, getting back in transition. And, I thought this is one of those games where, we let a lot of misses at the basket affect our defensive focus. When we weren't scoring, we lost focus of what we're supposed to be doing on the defensive side, and that can't happen. Obviously that was a big reason they built a big lead.
Frank, I just wanted your vantage point of the chase down block that John Morant had on Avery Bradley, just in terms of the rarity of seeing a guy get it with two hands like that, and he didn't score 40 against you guys today, but he made his presence felt.
Yeah, that was a special play from a special player. I don't know what else there is really to say about it. I think it was clean. I didn't see any replays or anything, but he's a special player. So that was a hell of a play.
Frank, aside from LeBron, the rest of the starters were 8 for 39. What do you chalk that up to? Is it just one of those nights where guys just aren't hitting shots?
A lot of guys having a tough night all at once. And credit Memphis' defense. They're a good defensive team. They force a lot of turnovers, and they break rhythm. So we were just a little out of sync. But like you said, a number of guys having tough nights all at the same time.
Frank, we've talked a lot about Russ and kind of trying to figure out good games, bad games, and different things like that. Obviously, tonight didn't impact the game really, I would imagine, in the way that you wanted. Was it a step back tonight, just an off night? What did you kind of make of the way he played?
Yeah, he had a tough night finishing at the basket for whatever reason tonight. And, he just got to play through that. He was not alone. A lot of our team, struggled to finish, either finishing open threes on the backside or finishing, quality looks at the basket. And like I said, I feel like our group let that impact, our defensive focus and intensity, and that can't happen.
Frank, we all saw AD on the floor before the game in a brace, but looked pretty comfortable shooting. Was that the most he's done so far? And are you encouraged by where he's at in terms of the whole recovery process?
Yeah, the only thing we're saying about AD is that we'll have an update after 4 weeks, but he has been doing some shooting.
Frank, I know you've talked about you're missing some parts of your team, and you talked about, come postseason we hope to look very different. But the last 3 games against Memphis, a team that's just just a little bit above you guys in the standings, does that feel like a little bit of a referendum on sort of the difference between those two teams right now, and is that motivating for your group to kind of get in that upper tier?
Yeah, we're motivated to be in the upper tier. We wanted to get this game and take another step, but fell short. But credit Memphis, they played really well.
However, a franchise record 9 straight for them. The Grizz now win the series 3-1 over the Lakers. And in sports, there are nights where you just get handled, and that's what happened to the Lakers tonight. Big game. One of those nights. Second and third quarters where I look at. The Grizz outscored the Lakers 80-56. They put up 38 in the second, shot 73% from the field. Then they backed that up and put up 42 in the third, built up a 29-point lead.
Memphis, they're the real deal. Led by a great player in Ja. They're very athletic. And, they play the small ball, so if the Lakers wanted to see the real version of it, they saw it against Memphis. 62 points in the paint, a lot of things we talked about that they just could not allow, and that was one of them, 62 points in the paint. Grizz got 25 fast break points. We can look at the numbers, but it's just the way Memphis play, and the Lakers, even though they're trying to play small ball, they just couldn't match up against this team tonight. They're a good team, really good team.
Yeah, this matchup, the speed difference, like the fast break points, 25-10, that's one thing, but you could see the difference between how fast, if the Lakers missed a shot or turned it over, they had absolutely no chance of getting back and slowing this team down. And the thought I was in the middle of was the Lakers have had success with this smaller lineup and the offensive efficiency really jumping up over the last couple weeks. And the defensive side of the basketball, while it's been okay, it hasn't been great. So then when you run up against a team that is really good
And on fire.
and playing well, it kind of highlights and puts the light back on the reality that to be good, you still have to defend at a really high level, even if you're scoring the basketball. And the Lakers just could not slow this team down tonight on the defensive end.
Down 2 starters, Memphis, Dillon Brooks and Steven Adams. John Morant, their leader, their superstar, that play he made, that block on Avery Bradley early in the game where he grabbed it with 2 hands, incredible. That went viral. But tonight was about balance for them. 6 guys in double figures. James, you mentioned the 25 fast break points, 62 points in the paint. They out-rebounded Lakers. They just beat them in every single facet of the game. And you could tell they kind of relish this matchup. They're the second youngest team in the league. Right now they're winning. 12 of 13 on the road they've won. They feel good, and they love it. They love coming in here, and they love punking the Lakers. You could see.
Yeah, I mean,
right? I mean, it's early. It's January.
Yeah, it's
but
early.
They're
I mean,
enjoying it. Yeah.
Historically, you always want to beat the Lakers. You know, it's always been about beating the best. But, you know, even without 2 players, it doesn't matter because their system is what works. I mean, they have individual players that make it work, but the system, no matter who, you can plug in different players. If you have certain players on the court like Bane and Ja Morant, you have them on the court still. You just plug in a couple of players and they still doing the same thing, Gita. They're still running. They're still, you know, moving fast, breaking down the defense, getting, you know, easy shots. So it's that system that works. They got great players, but they win with or without certain players in the game.
Yeah, they're kind of figuring out how to win different ways, too. I remember when the Lakers played them recently in Memphis. The Lakers actually played great for 3 quarters. Had a nice lead. Memphis had that big run at the end of the third and kind of continued in the fourth. It was a great game down the stretch, but it was the physicality, the offensive rebounds with Steven Adams and those second-chance opportunities. Great game by Desmond Bane. That got it done the last time they played. This time, you were right, Fish. Speed off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis's team is built with guys that, like, look at the guys that were on the floor for the Lakers with the 21-0 run in the fourth quarter when the game got interesting. Austin Reeves, Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, DeAndre Jordan, like guys that at this point in their careers, the only way you can get on the floor is to play that hard, fly around the court, get deflections, loose balls. Like Memphis Grizzlies, their whole roster is like that. And that's the way they play the game. So it doesn't matter who's in or out. You're still going to get the same level of intensity, attention to detail, sharing the basketball. And, you know, that's just a difference. In the regular season, in January, those are really, really difficult teams to play against that play that hard.
You know, when you look at the Lakers, James and Fish, LeBron with another great night offensively. He had 35. He was on it in the first half. He had over 20. Getting into a Desmond Bane a little bit there, too. We'll talk about that a little later. That's his 12th out of 13 games, I think, where he's been over 30. He's 14 and 19. But when you look at the rest of the Laker team, they really struggled. I look at the starting guards. Malik had one of his off nights. Russ, Avery Bradley, they're just 7 for